Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to get into something really exciting, AI-powered leadership and what it means for the future of performance management. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. We're talking about a real-world shift, a fundamental change in how you, as future leaders, will handle one of your most important jobs, growing and developing your people.
So, a bit about me. My name is Host Speaker, and I'm a hotel AI expert. I have to say, it's a real pleasure to welcome all of you, the students of the Europe Hotel School, to our session today. You know, our entire industry, it's built on people. It's all about the talent. So how we manage and grow that talent, well, that's everything. It's genuinely a privilege for me to get to talk about the future of management with the very people who are going to be leading it.
All right, so here's what we've got on the agenda. First, we'll tackle the big problem, that flawed annual review system. Then, we'll move on to the solution, which is all about a continuous approach. After that, we'll look at the tech that makes it all happen, the AI Copilot, and we'll wrap up with the most important piece of the puzzle, how this whole thing shifts a manager's role from being a judge to being a real coach.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning, with the core problem itself. For decades, the annual review has been the absolute standard for managing performance. But, and I'm sure some of you might have even experienced this already, it's a system that's just full of fundamental flaws.
Yeah, this probably sounds pretty familiar, right? For pretty much everyone involved, managers and employees alike, the annual review can bring this sense of dread. It feels like this huge, high-stakes event that, let's be honest, almost never manages to capture the full picture of an entire year's worth of work. So why does this happen? Well, one of the biggest culprits is a psychological trap that we call recency bias. It's just how our brains are wired, you know? We remember what happened recently much more clearly. So a manager might get hung up on a tiny mistake from last week, or maybe a big win from last month, and totally forget about the steady, fantastic work someone did 9 months ago. You can see how that just completely torpedoes the fairness of the whole thing, right?
Okay, so now that we know the problem, let's talk about the solution. The good news is, the industry is recognizing these flaws and is making a big shift. We're moving to a whole new paradigm, and it's one that you are being trained for right now. So let's get into this continuous approach.
And this is actually where your education at the Europe Hotel School London puts you way ahead of the game. You're not just learning about this stuff, you're being trained to lead the charge, to champion this transition to what we call continuous performance management. You're getting hands-on with tools like the Lattice platform, which are designed to bring feedback, goals, and all your meetings together into one seamless digital space.
I mean, just look at the difference here. On one side, you have the old way, a single, super stressful event that's just riddled with bias. But on the other side, it's an ongoing conversation, something that's meant to be developmental. And here's the absolute key. This new conversation isn't based on what one person happens to remember. No, it's backed by actual, objective data that's been collected all year long.
So, the big question is, how does technology actually make this all possible? Well, this is where the whole idea of an AI Copilot comes in. And believe me, it is a game changer for creating better, more effective managers.
Okay, so I want you to think of this AI not as something that replaces you as the manager. Absolutely not. Instead, think of it as your administrative copilot. Its main job is to do all the heavy lifting, you know? It sifts through and pulls together a massive amount of information from the entire year. And what does that do? It frees you up to focus on the stuff that really matters, the human side of things, the coaching and the development.
So how does it work in practice? It's actually pretty straightforward, just 3 steps. First, the AI goes out and gathers data from all over the place. We're talking peer feedback, notes from your one-on-ones, even public praise shouted out in the team channel. Then, second, it creates a balanced summary, a draft that shows both the big wins and the areas for growth. And then third, and this part is so important, it actually helps the manager refine their writing, checking it for bias, and making sure it's clear, specific, and objective.
And that brings us to another really big problem. Writing bias. You've probably seen feedback like this. You need to be more of a team player. I mean, what does that even mean? It's so vague, it's basically useless. The AI here acts like a coach for the manager. It'll prompt them to get specific, like, can you reference a project or a specific behavior? And that one simple change makes the feedback 1,000 times more constructive and 1,000 times more fair.
Okay, so let's zoom out and talk about the impact. Why should you care about this for your future teams, for the performance of the hotels you're going to run? The answer is simple. This technology completely transforms the entire dynamic of performance management.
Think about it from the employee's point of view for a second. The change is massive. Suddenly, the whole process just feels fairer. because it's based on everything they've done for 12 months, not just what the manager remembers from the last couple of weeks. That level of transparency builds incredible trust, and it turns the review from this scary judgment day into a real tool they can use for their own professional growth.
And really, this is the ultimate goal, what this is all about. When you have a review that's backed by all this data, the whole conversation changes. It's no longer a manager on one side of the table delivering a verdict. Instead, you've got the manager and the employee sitting on the same side, looking at the same set of facts, and working together on a plan for the future. It's not a judgment, it's a coaching opportunity.
And let me be perfectly clear about why this is so critical for your careers. In a market as competitive as London's hospitality scene, finding and keeping top talent is the name of the game. It is everything. Ambitious, talented people want to grow. They crave development. So a system that gives them fair, continuous, and genuinely helpful feedback, that's not just some nice-to-have perk, it becomes your most powerful strategic tool for making sure your best people stay with you.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. We've seen how AI can totally revolutionize something as ingrained as the performance review. As you get ready to go out there and lead your own teams in this amazing industry, I really want you to think about this. What's next? What other traditional, maybe even outdated management tasks are just waiting for a similar AI-powered transformation? Thank you so much for your time and attention today.